How has porn changed, uh, sex even in a marriage? I mean, growing up, I know, it was the only way you could get a hold of it was either magazines or videos or, it was harder to get a hold of, harder to do. Now now, if you're in that sexless marriage, all you have to do is turn on your phone and you got stuff at your fingertips. You don't It's easy, it's accessible, it's free, it's
Yes. So I think porn has been the way one of the issues with porn is that it's become the way that people get educated around sex. That's a problem because what happens in porn, if you guys don't know this already, all of you, it's just not real. Okay, I would say that some of like stuff on Pornhub, which is more couples videoing themselves, is a little different, right? Because that's a little more realistic. But generally, a lot of porn just isn't real, and now we have like AI image generation and all that other stuff going on, and it's not the way people really enjoy having sex. There are things that keep on showing up in porn that show up in my office, and I'm like, wow, okay, that's a porn thing, right? Which a lot of women don't actually like. Choking would be one thing that's very, very common right now. Um, Also can be incredibly dangerous if it's not done correctly, and people learn all about that from watching porn, right? So that's one piece around porn. I think also, particularly for men, one of the things that because by and large, porn is mostly watched by men. I mean, there are some percentage of women who watch it, but it's not nearly as high. One of
it's higher
the
than you think, though.
It's higher than you think, right, but it's not 50%, right? It's
No.
no. But I think for a lot of men, porn changes their nervous system because they're so used to stimulation happening so quickly. And that is not what actually happens in real life in sex. Like for most women, really need men to slow down a lot, right? And so there is a way in which the nervous system gets rewired from a lot of use of porn and the visual stimulation, and it takes you out of your body, and you're not actually feeling your sensations because you're so focused externally. So there's a lot of ways in which it can be challenging and cause issues in a sexual relationship, none of which is not fixable. It's all fixable. You just have to know that that's what's going on. And then you have to be educated or coached into what you need to do to start to change that so that you can have a different experience around sex than you're having when you're watching, something on your phone and masturbating.
It's also it also increases I believe, the dopamine that
It does. Yeah, it
and the
does.
dopamine receptors. I've heard studies that, like, every time that you watch it, like, you get more and more receptors, and so the urge to watch it more, that's where the addiction comes from. It's like you start out with, like, a couple of receptors, and then by the time your brain's filled with them and your brain's just craving that attention, and even in a healthy sexual marriage, you're not being stimulated enough to probably get the what you're needing.
Yeah, I mean, dopamine is, it's the crack cocaine of sex and alcohol and drugs and everything else, right? It's like if you've got that addictive personality, then, you're probably more likely to have an issue with porn than if you don't. But yes, it definitely creates dopamine hits, but so does having sex create dopamine hits, right? So that is a piece. I'm not anti-porn, right? I think it has its place for a lot of people, men with very high sex drives, my partner being one of them, is like great. He likes to watch porn and get off, a couple times a week. I'm like, that's fine. My body might not be available right then, but if you're happy with that, that's fine. So I think it has its place, and used, used with some discernment, I think it's fine. I think it's great for women too. I have a lot of clients who their arousal, because they're also visual, happens through watching porn as well. Like, oh yeah, we'll put on a porn movie to get us into the mood. I'm like, great, if that works for you, fantastic, right? Like, everybody's different. Everybody has different ways to get to where they need to be. And I like to just, as a coach, just to embrace all of it, right? Like, whatever works for you works. That's good.
Yeah, no, I have said in my life, if I can go back to my teenage years and never see porn for the first time, I think I'd be a happier person. But
Yeah. Yeah. I hear
but
you.
uh that's that's just honesty. So another thing about sex that is pretty prevalent is the bargaining chip it becomes.
Can be.
So and it's really interesting because on the one hand, you know, you said that, women feel like obligated, to that it's their role, that it's
Some women.
required of them, right? Some of them. So I can understand on the one hand where it's like, dude, I'm not into it. But at the same time, to use it as a bargaining chip, to even as and I don't think that it's hard because I want to say I don't think that sex should either be withheld or rewarded. Like I don't think you should build a reward system. Oh, if you do this, guess what? You get lucky tonight. But at the same time, I don't think the same way you should withhold it is because I'm angry with you, because I don't like you, you're not getting it tonight.
Disagree with that at all. That's a very unhealthy um, pattern in a relationship when people use sex manipulatively, and it works both ways, both withholding sex as well as rewarding somebody with sex. Like, not a healthy pattern to be in. Has to be broken, right? Have to look at what's going on under when that shows up in my office, and it does, right? We have to stop and say, like, okay, let's look at what's actually going on underneath this. Like, why are we using sex as a manipulation tool, right? It's cruel. It's creates a lot of toxicity in relationships. And it's a very, very unhealthy thing to do. And there's always reasons underneath it that have nothing to do with sex.